Hello everyone. Today we're looking at the problem sort matrix by diagonals, which was question 1 in a weekly contest 436. So the question reads that we're given an n by n square matrix, all of integers called grid. And we want to return the matrix such that the diagonals in the bottom left triangle, including the middle, are sorted in non-increasing order, and the diagonals in the top right triangle are sorted in non-decreasing order. So very simple problem statement, but it can be a bit tricky if you haven't worked with matrices before. Looking at this example, we'll see exactly what we have to do here. So we're given this input matrix. It looks like this. So we have 1, 7, 3 in the top, 9, 8, 2 here, and then 4, 5, 6 here. And you'll see what happens is that these, with this black line going through it, these are going to be sorted in non-increasing order, right? So either the same element or decreasing. And these are sorted in non-decreasing order, so either the same or greater for each element. So basically we have to take our input matrix and we have to reformat it so that it looks similar to this. And what we actually do here is that we're going to take this middle row and we're going to sort it so it becomes 8, 6, 1. And then this 9, 5, this diagonal here, and this 4 remain unchanged. We would sort these, but these are already in sorted order, so nothing really has to be done here. Then for these two, we're actually going to sort them in increasing order. So this 7, 2 becomes 2, 7, but this 3 remains unchanged since it's already sorted. So there's a pretty interesting trick with matrices to identify which elements are in which diagonal. If you have not seen this before, it's a little unintuitive, but hopefully we can make sense of it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our diagonals and we're going to record which elements fall in which one. And we're going to do this by using this row minus column equation. And you'll see what that looks like. So let's take this element 4 here. So what we can do here is say, let's take the row, which is 2, minus 0 equals 2. And we'll see that this falls in diagonal 2. So let's record that here. We'll have a key, and then we can just record that 4 in here. Now let's move on to this element. So we'll see that this 9, if you do row 1 minus 0, then we'll get 1. So that means this 9 falls in the 1 diagonal. And if we take this element here on the same diagonal, we'll see that this is 2 minus 1, which also equals 1. So we'll see that we can put this here. So you see now that we've correctly identified all of the elements in the same diagonal here. We have 9 and 5, both belonging to that 1 diagonal. So I'm just going to follow through with these and show you exactly what our final transformation would look like. So now we've gone through and we have every element of our grid represented in this data structure here, right? So each key here represents the diagonal, and then the array that is the value represents all the elements that belong to that diagonal. So how do we actually use this now? So one interesting thing that we could see here is that these keys with the positive or 0 value, these will be our non-increasing diagonals. And then these here with the negative values will be our non-decreasing. So basically what we need to do now is we want to iterate through all of these keys and values, and basically using this information that we have, what we want to do is we want to rearrange our diagonals here. So how do we actually do this? Well, let's take an example here. So let's say we want to do this diagonal here from 9 to 5. Well, I've marked this with a blue line to represent that it should be decreasing. So what do we actually want to do? Well, let's start at this element here, right? We could say we're going to start at 1, 0, and this will be the starting place for our diagonal. So we know that this needs to be sorted in non-increasing order, so we can just sort this in reverse. So we'll sort in reverse. In this case, it's already sorted that way, so it doesn't really matter. Then what we do is we'll place this first element 0 in this spot here. We'll move on, place this element 1 in this spot here. So in this case, it didn't do anything, but let's move on to this next diagonal. Here we want to do the same thing. This is going to be a non-increasing diagonal. So what we can do is we could sort this in reverse order. So we would get 8, 6, and 1. Then what we do here is we'll say, let's place this element 0 in this spot here. We'll place this element 1 in this spot here, and this element 2 in this spot here. Then once we place these elements in, we'll see that we're going to get 8 here, 6 here, and 1 here, right? So really what we're going to do is we're going to just do this diagonal processing, get them all in a data structure so that we know which elements go in which diagonal. Then based on this key value here, we could sort them in the proper order and just put them back in the grid. So the first thing we want to do here is set up our data structure to record all the diagonals. So we're just going to have a dictionary here. What we're going to do is just iterate through every element in our grid, and we're going to record each element with its respective diagonal value. So we're going to do the row minus the column and just append that element in there. Then what we want to do is iterate through all those keys and values in that data structure. And we're going to have this conditional case. So what we're going to do here is say if our key is less than 0, this means that we want them to be in increasing order. And these will be the elements in the top right triangle. So everything that's kind of starting in the top right of the grid down towards the middle. So what this means that our diagonal starts in the top row, and the column is going to be whatever key we're looking at here. So we're just going to do this for the case where we have the top right triangle. Otherwise, we're going to be in the bottom left triangle. So there, our column is going to start at 0, and our row is going to start as whatever the absolute value of the key is. Here we're going to sort them in reverse because we know these have to be in non-increasing order. Then what we do is we're going to start our elements index, and while our column and row are inbound, we're just going to traverse this diagonal. So we're going to set our grid equal to whatever element we're looking at. We're going to increase our element index by 1, then increase our row and column by 1. And this effectively moves us down the diagonal in a bottom right direction. Then at the end, we just return the grid. So let's submit, make sure that this works. And it does work. Hopefully this is helpful and it made sense. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.